so proudly we hail, and the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land under the frame, and the home of the brave? Because we are the brave. Yes, we are the brave. We'll fight you in the name of the brave. We are the U.S. of A. For those unaware, that flag is still there. It's our future to save. This land of the brave, the U.S. of A. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, in the home of the
Howdy, folks. This is Doc Owen. You are listening to the Doc Owen Show live, Spreaker.com. Welcome back. Welcome aboard. I hope you had your speakers turned up full blast for that. It was blaring in my headset. That was my friends at Madison Rising, and simply a taste, a very small little taste of what you're going to get to experience live in San Antonio, Saturday afternoon, May the 2nd. We'll get back to that in just a minute. Let's get back to the more formal proceedings of the show. We always start out by making sure you're aware that we're on Facebook.com/Doc Owen Show. You can follow it on Twitter at Doc Owen Show. We're on a bunch of other social media, but those are the two that we are very active on. And if you've been missing us on the air live as on a regular basis on these Thursday nights, it's because, as you know, we've been broadcasting all over the town and the territory, more appropriately said, covering local election forums. It has been a lot of fun, and I hope it has served a good public service of allowing people to hear the various candidates for multiple offices as they respond to questions and answers. Not really a debate There have been no debates that we've covered, but they have been forums. So we've enjoyed doing that. The other thing that we always do is we start out with a leadership quote. And I have just found out today that as of the edition coming out on May the 14th, you're going to get to hear a quote from my friends at Crowned Grace International. They publish a daily leadership lesson or leadership quote from various leaders, and they're going to quote me on May the 14th. So I get to tell you what that is in advance, and somewhere around, probably that's a Monday if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around the Thursday following that Monday, you might even get to hear it again. And during the show later on, I'll tell you what prompted this thought. But the quote is, if you are afraid of being disliked, you cannot lead. In other words, all your decisions are not necessarily going to be what you think popular, but as a leader, it is up to you to help define what the decision is. Hold on to that thought. We'll get back to it later on in the show. So, I'm a little concerned or consternated or challenged or whatever you want to call it by social media. If you know the answer to this, help me out. If not, I'm going to have to dig into the technical capabilities of Facebook. And you can go to our Facebook page, the Doc Owen Show, and put an answer out there and make a comment, post a comment. I thought when I posted events on the Doc Owen Show Facebook page that it notified all of our followers of that event. I'm not sure that that's actually taking place. So it's either my misunderstanding of what an event posting is supposed to do, or I've got something set up in Facebook incorrectly. But I will do my best to change that. And the reason I'm saying that is because coming up over the next few months, there's going to be a real transition in the show. We are going to start to focus more and more on what will basically be a daily podcast. You won't be hearing it live, but you won't know that because it'll be live to you. And we're gonna do a series called Take 20. And it's like a daily Take 20. Take 20 minutes. A very famous motivational speaker trained a lot of people, me included a long time ago, in the power of a 20-minute power nap somewhere in the afternoon. It doesn't have to be just 20 minutes is all you need to completely recharge your batteries. So what we're going to do is a series of podcasts, 2 or 3 or 4 days a week, that will only be available through our ConnectPal subscription service called Take 20. And they will be little 15 to 20-minute bursts, probably on like the hot news item of the day, to maybe give you some alternate thought as to what the mainstream media is telling you, if they're telling you anything, or what's going on the internet, or what's going on in the back channel, or so it'll be just a little blurb, something to spice up your day a little bit of different train of thought. So that series is going to be Take 20. The way you get to the subscription service is through DocOwenShow.com. Remember, everything is Doc Owen Show. If you go to DocOwenShow.com, you'll immediately be faced with a thing called ConnectPal and signing up for the Doc Owen Show. We've not put a lot of emphasis on it because we've been doing this whole live series with all the elections, et cetera, et cetera. And I have a good portion of my audience that I know appreciates the weekly broadcasts and doesn't particularly like to go on the internet and give them a credit card or commit to a monthly billing or anything like that. And I apologize for that, but my other choice is to have advertisers on the show, or advertisers on Facebook, or advertisers on a blog, or get some type of outside support. And quite frankly, I don't want to do that. It's more trouble than it's worth, and I want to be able to maintain my independent stance from any outside influence other than my listeners, other than the constituents, other than you folks that are committed to what we have to say on the air. So your feedback is appreciated both on the Facebook page as well as on the Connect Pal broadcast page. I'm going to really urge you more and more and more often to go out and hook up with us on Connect Pal through DocOwenShow.com. It is a whopping $1.79 a month. So it's not like we're going to get rich. All we're doing is paying for our ability to broadcast. So remember that. DocOwenShow.com through Connect Pal. That's where you will hear all of the Take 20 broadcasts. And that's the only place you will hear the Take 20 broadcasts. All right, so your feedback is very important. And it kind of in keeping in tune with what I just said, that I like to maintain an independent status. A large portion of this show, and certainly the next 15 or 20 minutes, is going to be dedicated to something that I am deeply immersed in, feel very strongly about, and I think it is a wonderful opportunity for an awful lot of people to get involved. And since I am paying for the airtime, I get to make that decision. There's an event coming up Saturday, May the 2nd. It's called Catch the Spark. I got a feeling an awful lot of you know about it. I've got a feeling you need to tell other people about it. It is right around the corner. We are expecting a wonderful turnout, and I guarantee you it'll be an enjoyable time for a very good purpose. Catch the Spark is a concert that is designed to support primarily military organizations. I'm going to tell you who the beneficiaries are in just a second. The details of the concert, there's a Facebook page called Catch the Spark. It's not hard to find. You don't have to do Facebook to find it. You simply type in facebook.com/catchthespark, and it comes up like any other web page. It'll tell you all about it, or you can play back this podcast because I'm about to tell you all about it. First, let's talk about what it is. It's a benefit concert. We're going to have two bands there. The first of which is the band you just heard. They are the premier. They are the headliner. That's Madison Rising. They have recently been on Fox and Friends. They are conducting a nationwide tour. We happen to fall sort of at the beginning of that, but they were booked to come to San Antonio prior to the nationwide tour being put together. So there's an opportunity that we may broadcast them live as a precursor this coming Saturday night when they're within distance of San Antonio. So you can listen to what they're going to bring to town. I can assure you there will be nothing like hearing it live. So don't take this as an opportunity to opt out and not come see them, because their in-person presentation is amazing. The amount of energy that they put into it and that they deliver and offer up to the participants is overwhelming. I mean, you'll really enjoy it. The lead-in band to that, as I said last week, I had to play a considerable amount of my professor's academic capital to get this other band here. And it's a group called the Bill Ayers Band. If you've not heard of Bill Ayers, my condolences. Welcome to the rest of the world. This is not that Bill Ayers out of Chicago. This is a guy by the name of Bill Ayers who happens to have a band headquartered in New Braunfels. So what we're going to do, the theme of the whole theme is to, support the military. They play Texas-type music. That's going to be followed by God and country rock and roll. So we're going to go from state to national, and the entire theme is going to be an uplifting of your patriotic instincts and support for your patriotism. I really hope you'll enjoy us and join us. We are going to have about what? I'm sorry, I forgot I was with us tonight. My bad. I got so entangled. I'm really nervous. This is the first time I've been live for a while. So we got what, 5 or 6?
5.
5 food trucks that'll be there.
5.
Right?
Yes, 5.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
All of whom are really first class. So you'll have 5 options for different types of food. It's going to be held at Javelina Harley Davidson. That is the Fair Oaks exit off of Interstate 10 West, just a little bit outside of town. I mean, it's probably about a 10-minute drive. It's no more than 5 minutes north of what is, all of San Antonio out there around that thing called the Rim and whatever Fiesta, whatever all is out there. I don't get out there very much. I refer to it as South Austin, but it's really just right around the corner. And, their address is technically in Bernie, but they fall within the San Antonio neighborhood for sure. So Javelina Harley Davidson, 4 o'clock is when the festivities kick off. We're going to have the Young Marines that Madison Rising is affiliated with, and it's a youth group that call themselves the Young Marines. They will be there. They will be on hand. We think they're going to bring a color guard for the event. We got the 2 bands. We got food trucks. What else we got going on? We are going to reach out to, we're planning to reach out to all of the political candidates. Not necessarily, this is not a political rally, so they're not going to speak, but they are going to be there if you have questions or would like to interact with them on a relationship type basis. So we're not going to ask them to speak. Don't worry about that. But we hope that we know that some of them will be around. So we're going to reach out to the others that may or may not be aware of the event and make sure they come. What else are we doing in Catch the Spark? Oh yeah, we got the I think it's the Miller beer distributor that's going to be there, and so we'll have some suds, and there will be Cokes and water and et cetera, et cetera. So it's for all ages, and the reason I'm now I get into some more of the specifics about the concert. The best way, it's not a requirement, but the best way to buy your ticket is online. And here's why. I'm going to give you some codes later on in the show. If you buy your ticket online, first of all, you're going to pay $20 for an individual ticket or $30 for a couple, 2 for $30. All right? With that, and those prices at the gate are $25 for an individual and $40 for a twofer. So right there you save one piece of money by buying it online. The other is when you buy online, you get a coupon for various discounts, twofers, etc., at 6 different restaurants around San Antonio. I'm going to try to name them off, and I'm just going to fill in the gaps of the ones that I forget. All right? So we got Henry's Puffy Tacos. We've got Crossroads Barbecue. We've got the Lion and the Rose. We've got Los Barrios. That's 4. We've got, I'm going to take it.
I think it's called like the Cloggers.
Oh, Clodhoppers.
Clodhoppers.
Now,
That's pretty close.
Yeah, Clodhoppers.
Yes.
But that's not open yet. That's affiliated with the Lion and the Rose.
Uh-huh.
That one will open this summer, so that coupon will be good for a little bit of an extended period of time. That's right.
And then
it wasn't Los Barrios. I said it wrong. It's
Viola's.
It's Viola's, which is owned by the Barrios family.
Uh-huh.
All
Viola's
right?
Ventanas.
So it's technically Viola's Ventanas.
Uh-huh.
And I
Candy's.
remember Candy's Hamburger Joint, downtown San Antonio.
Candy.
So those are the 6 restaurants that are supporting the concert and supporting the activity. And they're supporting it by giving you'll have to buy online and get the coupon page, but some of them you get 2 for 1, some of them you get, free fries, some of them you get, so there's various and sundry bargains. I think Henry's is free wings with a pitcher of beer.
Yeah.
Or something like. Or
That's right.
So each one of them did something different, but they all participated. So you've doubled your money right there through these supporting restaurants. All right. Well, that. Hold on to that thought. Just know that we're really going to direct you to go online. And by online, I mean Facebook.com/CatchTheSpark or any one of the participating recipients that we're going to talk about here in just a minute of the benefit concert. What we're trying to do with the benefit is, and you will notice, we're going all the way from the young people, the really young people, the very vulnerable young people, with an organization called Freedom Youth Project. Freedom Youth Project is basically an educational endeavor to reduce child trafficking and reduce sex trafficking. All right? It's headquartered here in San Antonio. You're going to learn an awful lot about it. And Freedom Youth Project is the real young piece of the beneficiaries of what we're doing. The next thing we're doing is we're supporting the active duty military through a group called Dogs on Deployment. You have no idea what challenges pets present to active duty personnel. Not just finding a foster home if they don't have some place to leave their pet when they go so that their companion will be there when they get back. But also when they're moved from base to base, the rules change at some of the bases. So they may or may not be able to take their pet with them. They may not be able to take all of their pets with them. So there's all sorts of things that Dogs on Deployment does. You'll learn more about it at the concert or on the web or whatever. But it's really a very viable service for active duty personnel. The next group that the concert supports is the support of the military in what I'm going to call in transition. It's a group called Combat Marine Outdoors, and they support the transition of our injured warriors back into productive society, back into knowing that we appreciate what they did for us, and we're here to help them no matter what has happened to them in their call of duty. So we've got the youth, we've got active duty, and we've got transition folks that Combat Marine Outdoors works with. And finally, our fallen heroes, the ones who didn't make it back, through a group called Wreaths Across America. Wreaths Across America put over 17,000 Christmas wreaths out at Fort Sam. They still have over 100,000 that they have to do before their mission accomplished of putting a wreath on every tombstone at Christmas time at Fort Sam. And Fort Sam's not the only one. That's just what the local chapter does. You're going to hear from all four of these people, all four of these organizations, one-on-one at Catch the Spark. You can also go out to the Catch the Spark webpage or any of their web pages or the Doc Owens Show webpage and listen to a 30-minute radio show that we were kind enough to be invited to do by KLUP and KSLR. So the podcast of that 30-minute show, which was a conversation between the host of the show, a young man by the name of Milton Glick, and his audience with three of these organizations, the three that are predominantly military: Dogs on Deployment, Combat Marine, and Wreaths Across America. So I encourage you to learn about these groups, and I know that you will want to support them. The other thing that we're going to do is kind of a build-up this week. We will, at the very latest next Thursday night on this broadcast, I'll be having a conversation with Mr. David Bray. David is the lead singer for Madison Rising. So if you've listened to my show for quite a while, you know that I got to know these guys back when I interviewed them all as a group over a year ago, and have stayed in touch, followed their career, and been friends with them since. So David is going to come on the show. We're going to talk about, I don't know what we're going to talk about, but we will figure it out. It'll be a good conversation. You'll enjoy it, and it'll give you some insight into the band and how they're doing and their excitement about coming to San Antonio. So I gave those to you in a particular order. Now, if you've got a pen and pencil handy, have you got a pen and pencil handy? Okay, I'll take that as a yes. Since I didn't hear any no's, or I didn't hear somebody saying hold on, I'll just take that as a yes. I'm going to give you 4 coupon codes, if you will. 4 ways to save. You can't do all 4. You got to pick one. 10%, another 10% off the price of your ticket. All right? You can use these 4 codes. If you want to support primarily the Freedom Youth Project, put in a code. It'll ask you for a coupon code. Put in FYP, Frank Yellow Primary, Freedom Youth Project. Got it? The next one is Dogs on Deployment, DOD. Not a hard one to remember. Next, Combat Marine Outdoors. I think you're beginning to get the gist. I hear somebody saying it. CMO. All right? And the 4th, WAA. Wreaths Across America. WAA. So there's 4 different ways, in addition to what we've already given you as an online price. There's 4 different ways you can save an additional 10%. And there are numerous organizations around town that are promoting the sale of the and backing the event. They also have codes. I encourage you to use one of those codes, because that's the only way that Catch the Spark is going to know where the referral to buy the ticket came from, so that we can turn around and make a donation to the organization. All right? So I know that was a long-winded commercial, but the airtime was strictly paid for. All right. Let's talk about a couple of other things that are top of mind. The last little blurb you heard from us as an online pitch last week had to do with Jade Helm 15. I'm not gonna drop the topic. I didn't bring it up last week to alarm anyone. I brought it up to be informative. I'm going to stay on it as far as I feel like you need the information or something has changed. If you are not familiar, it has been announced, it has to be announced that, according to the law, that the military is going to conduct exercises on United States soil between the dates of approximately July the 15th and September the 15th, if I remember correctly. So over about a 60-day period, the U.S. military is going to conduct operations, some undercover, some not undercover. All right. So the alarm bells went off. All of the conspiracy theorists are making a huge effort to spin this as the immediate implementation of martial law. Logic tells me that if they were going to declare martial law in the United States, they wouldn't exactly give us 60 to 90 days notice. Okay. So the other side of me says, well, maybe they would, to kind of soften the blow. So it wouldn't come quite as so much of a shock or a surprise to my system. I might have had time to kind of mellow into it and get with the program, if you will. So that, but I bring it up so that you can also go through the back and the forth. I know that I've been paying a certain amount of attention to it, and so, I mean, where are you in your thought process? What do you think Jade Helm is going to actually bring about? What do you think the net result is going to be?
Well, I've been thinking and reading and thinking, and what I come about to really think it is that I think our government, special forces in particular, I think they're going to take out here in the United States all the ISIS people primarily, and then rest of the terrorists, because I think it has got to a point where it's just out of control here.
Okay, so, and that was an idea that was floated early on by a gentleman in one of the blogs out of Florida. I remember it quite well. That it was a preparatory training for that type of an event. So let's go down that path for a minute. Does that mean, or doesn't that mean, that in these certain territories or regions where these actions are going on, is there a potential that they could, I'll say declare martial law, but really it's more of a lockdown kind of a situation? How do you see that playing out?
I could see that, honestly. It kind of reminds me similar to like what happened in Boston with that horrible massacre. And they just like shut down Boston, and they found those two guys. I mean, they knew what they were doing and what they were after, and they got it. And I think since ISIS and all these terrorists is so widespread that they're going to have to encompass a lot of territory to get that job done.
Okay. So what I hear you saying is that limited martial law might be on the table.
Right. Temporary.
For a solid purpose and reason to protect the American public.
Yes.
Okay. I'll buy into that. I'll also remind everyone of the phrase that my mother taught me, and I'm absolutely confident that your mother taught you. You prepare for the worst and pray for the best.
That's right.
Okay. So preparing for the worst in this case means if you're in a territory that has been announced is going to be covered or involved or close to or whatever this Jade Helm 15 action, you might want to treat it as if a hurricane is coming or a tornado is coming or some other natural disaster and prepare in the same way. Is that what I hear you saying?
I believe so. Yes, that would be correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. One side of me, I'll buy into that. In other words, that's the prepare for the worst piece. Praying for the best it's just an exercise to see if all the trucks will start on time and the tanks know where they're going and Google Mapping tells these people what they're doing, and absolutely nothing is going to come of it other than they're going to learn something from it. That's what they're telling us it's all about. They want to learn something from the public reaction. And my concern is I don't want the public to overreact.
Right.
As you know, when the Doc Owen Show covered the invasion that was coming up from South Texas coming across our border, my concern was that folks did not overreact. We talked to the Oath Keepers. We talked to members of the militia. We talked to folks that were eyes and ears on the ground. And so that was my concern then. I have the same amount of concern for Jade Helm 15. In other words, we simply cannot let our fears get the best of us and overreact. We can stay diligent. We can stay involved. We can stay vocal. We are the eyes and ears of this country. So we can communicate with what we know to be fact, not what we suspect or know to be fiction. Fair enough?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I brought that up for a reason. That's the sort of thing you might hear about on Tech 20. In other words, you might get a little 15 to 20 minute update on some things that are going on if it's hot in the news. So that's another reason you need to be involved. Now I want to play a little song for you that it will lead into another example of Take 20, and it's currently in the news, and I'll give you a thought about it and how maybe the dots are tied to Jade Helm or maybe not. So let's hear that song about our new Attorney General.
Well, I was born to coal miner's daughter in a cabin on a hill in Butcher Holler. We were poor, but we had love. That's the one thing that Daddy made sure of. He shoveled coal to make a poor man's dollar. My daddy worked all night in a van near coal mine. All day long in a field of hoeing corn. Mommy rocked the babies at night and read the Bible by the coal oil light. And everything would start all over come break of morn. Daddy loved and raised their kids on a miner's pay. Mommy scrubbed our clothes on a washboard every day. Why, I've seen her fingers bleed. To complain, there was no need. She'd smile in Mommy's understanding way. In the summertime, we didn't have shoes to wear. But in the wintertime, we'd all get a brand new pair. From a mill or a catalog, money made from selling a hog. Daddy always managed to get the money somewhere. Yeah, I'm proud to be a coal miner's daughter.
All right, hold on.
I remember well the
I don't think
well
that that's-
behind the water.
I don't really think that this is who we've appointed
The work
recently,
we done was hard,
appointed, approved
and
yesterday or
honestly,
today
'cause we were taught.
as our new Attorney
I never
General.
thought of it.
Actually, I'd be happier if it were this
Well,
Loretta
a
Lynn.
lot of things have changed since the way back then. And it's so good to be back home again.
All right,
Not much left but the floor.
that was a bit of humor. It was intended as a bit of humor
The memories of
about the newly appointed Attorney General. If you were with us at the beginning of the show, you might recall the leadership quote of the day. And that was, if you are fearful of being disliked, you cannot lead. There were 10 Republicans that voted with the 100% Democrat side of the Senate in order to pass or approve the administration's nomination of Loretta Lynch as Attorney General. I would submit to you, those 10 Republicans are so fearful of not being liked that they failed to lead. The record shows I'm not going to go into it. You're welcome to look it up. The record shows Loretta Lynch is Eric Holder on steroids, particularly when it comes to immigration, and she particularly supports what a lot of us believe are the unconstitutional power grabs of the administration, of the government against the freedom of you and I. And think about this. Do you really think that the President of the United States, this President of the United States, is going to appoint an individual to be the primary enforcer of the law, of the Constitution, that is A, not friendly with the way he thinks, and B, going to rein him in or tell his administration that they can't do things? Do you really think this guy is going to appoint an independent attorney general? Well, you are listening to the wrong show. Because you don't get it. He's going to appoint one of his own. He's been doing it for years. All his life. In every facet. So I would expect the unlawful... She's already come out and said that she doesn't think that his immigration decree is unlawful. That to me is laughable. I don't have a law degree. Mostly because I didn't want to hang out with lawyers. It's just laughable. By the way, I do stand toe-to-toe with him because a PhD in a lot of categories outstraps a Juris Doctorate. To a PhD, a Juris Doctorate is the same as an MBA. Take that. So, back to prepare for the worst, expect the best. Hope for the best. Pray for the best. And if you're a conspiracy theorist, the appointment of Loretta Lynch fully supports the alter ego of Jade Helm 15. She won't see anything wrong with whatever they do. In her mind, and therefore in the legal mind of the administration, it'll be justified. One more food for thought about weaving these things together. You may recall for the past year, from time to time, off and on, the Doc Owen Show has raised the concern of the purging of military personnel, predominantly in the upper ranks. It goes on in every administration, but this administration has done it way, way more than any predecessor. Purging of the upper brass of people who do not think the way they do. It's their trademark, if you want to call it that. It's the Chicago way, as we used to call it. So they've done this to the military, and now what they're doing in the military is they're running out the Christians. They're telling the chaplains across all of the services what they can and cannot talk about, how they can conduct their services. They can't use the word Jesus in their sermons. In other words, and young Christian men, devoutly Christian men, evangelistic type Christian men, are being told absolutely do not join the military. You're not wanted. Okay. if you were going to try to put together a military that was willing to follow orders that might come down to support martial law, what kind of a military would you put together? You put together one that liked the administration, trusted the administration, and did what the administration said to do. And you'd put together one that didn't particularly care for Christians. And then, what if your actions were on the surface deemed legal by the Attorney General? And then the order came down from a less than trusted administration to change the rules of the game in the middle of it. I'm not telling you that's what's going to happen. I don't think that there is a penny's worth of chance of that happening. Simply because somewhere deep down inside their twisted minds, they do know that for every 100 households in the United States of America, there are 89 guns. Those are pretty tough odds. We're not living in Germany in the 30s and other countries where they've tried all they can to confiscate the guns, and I think they've figured out that the good old boys that have them ain't giving them up. So keep your eyes and ears open. Do whatever level of perspiration you think is a good idea. Pray for the best. Work your hardest. Do what you're supposed to be doing. Go about your business. Don't let it absorb your mindset. Just pay attention. That's all. If you've been listening to the show for any time, you'll know that's how I sign off. Pay attention. Look around you. Absorb what's going on. Okay? All right. So what have we talked about? Catch the Spark. Facebook.com. Catch the Spark. Please come join us. Catch the Spark. That's exactly what it's about. Fire up those patriotic genes that you've got. Bring some friends with you. Bring some young people with you. That's really who this is for. This is some good old time country and good old time rock and roll. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And on the other side, we talked a little bit about Jade Helm 15 and Loretta Lynch and yada yada. So we got serious for a moment. As you listen to our final ditty, remember to replace the word rock with the word doc, and we will be right back.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. Put your glad rags on. Join me home. We'll have some fun when the clock strikes 1. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. We're gonna rock, rock, rock till broad daylight. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight.
Thank you very much. You've been listening to the Doc Owens Show. Thanks for having us. Go out there, pay attention, take care. God bless. Good night.
Night, folks.